We want to welcome everyone to our Celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. We are joined by two esteemed, we'll say, Friends of Mutual of America, and I'll explain why they're Friends of Mutual of America very soon for this conversation. So let me introduce our two esteemed guests here. We have Shirley Acevedo Buontempo, who is the founder and executive director of Latino Youth College Access. Born in Puerto Rico, she's a first-generation college graduate. Shirley is passionate about the transformative power of education and committed to helping Latino students achieve their dreams through higher education. Shirley is dedicated to advancing opportunity and equity for those most in need. The reason why she is a friend of Mutual of America is because her work has earned national recognition. In 2023, LUCA received the Mutual of America Community Partnership Francis R. Hesselbein Award in recognition of the LUCA Scholars Program. Also, the Hispanic Star Changemakers Shaping the U.S. Award presented by Ahsoka Global and the We Are All Human Foundation. She is one of 5 national winners selected as a fellow to receive the 2019 AARP Purpose Award, a testament to her commitment to make the world a better place for all ages. LUCA's programs have been recognized as examples of Excellencia by Excellencia in Education, a national advocacy and research group that brings attention to evidence-based practices that accelerate Latino student success in higher education. That is her job. Let me tell you a little bit about who she is and how she got here. Shirley is a dedicated community advocate and proudly serves on numerous awards, including the Westchester Community College Foundation, the Westchester County Hispanic Advisory Board, and the Open Door Family Health Center's Board of Directors. Before LUCA, because you had a life before that, you led a very successful career in Hispanic marketing and advertising, working for top firms such as Gray Advertising and Saatchi & Saatchi. Her work has been featured in media outlets such as Time, Fortune, and Hispanic Executives Magazine and the ABC and Univision networks, inspiring others with her leadership and dedication to advancing Latino college access. You hold a BA in marketing and an MPA in nonprofit management from Pace University and have certificates from Harvard University's Kennedy School of Executive Leadership and CCL, the Center of Creative Leadership, further underscoring the capabilities and dedication to her work. Thank you for joining us, Shirley. And we are pleased that we have Shirley, while we're happy that we have you here, we already know that the star of the show is going to be Alondra Vallejo. And so let me tell you who she is. She is a senior at George Washington University School of Business, majoring in marketing with a minor in human services and social justice. As an Ecuadorian first-generation college student from Westchester, New York, Alondra is passionate about supporting underrepresented communities. She interned with the National College Attainment Network and SSNK in New York City, gaining experience in media management and strategy. Alondra serves as the vice president of GW Casablanca, an inclusive Latinx student organization. She is also a Latino Youth College Access Scholar and ambassador, where she's helped to promote the organization and support other first generation Latino students. Thank you, both of you, for joining us. Let me tell, and I see claps. I love when I see the claps. So John Clare, I'll give you a shout out. I just saw your clap. Let me tell you a little bit about the program that Shirley started. Latino Youth College Access, or LUCA, is a dynamic 501c3 nonprofit organization that transforms the lives of high-achieving, low-income Latino students by making college dreams a reality. Since 2012, LUCA has empowered the first-generation Latino students and their family through every step of the college journey, from navigating the application process to securing financial aid and thriving on campus. By providing personalized guidance, mentorship, and college readiness, LUCA ensures that students not only have access to higher education, but more importantly, they succeed and they graduate unlocking their full potential. It is with a deep commitment to advancing equity that LUCA works at the heart of the community, addressing systematic barriers and driving educational opportunities for the next generation Latino leaders. Their comprehensive support services tailored to the unique challenges faced by first-gen students have impacted hundreds of families, creating lasting change and building a bright future for both individuals, and this is more important, and the communities that they will serve. So Lawrence is going to flip us to a video, and I'm going to remind you at the end, but I will tell you now, if you want to learn more about LUCA, we're going to talk about it, but there's always more to learn. Or if you want to make a donation to their mission, please visit their website, which is Latino, so Latino, LatinOU.org. And you can find there more information about that. So thank you for joining us. And Lawrence, we're going to have you roll the videotape.
And I welcome you to our favorite day of the year, a day when we celebrate our incredible scholars, their families, their accomplishments, and the village, the familia that is here, united in purpose for all of you, for the promise of your future.
It is because of young, enthusiastic, big-hearted people like you who deserve an opportunity. It's why we're here.
My parents' dreams were that I could achieve what they weren't able to, and that I could have the opportunity to become anyone I wanted to be. When I was nominated for the LUCA Scholars Program in high school, it gave me the hope that the doors to higher education would open. This program ended up being absolutely life-changing. My college coach, Karen Baker, who is here today, she became like family, a mentor, a champion, and never let me lose sight of my goals. LUCA has been by my side the entire time.
We care and are committed to the success of every student in this program.
Thank you to Shirley and all the people involved in this organization, because if they didn't have the vision, there wouldn't be an organization, but there is an organization. And because this organization exists, the Katias of the world can plug in. All of you can plug in and have a better life.
Your belief in them is really a powerful force. That is really the foundation that these students need to dream and achieve their goals.
You have not only imparted knowledge, but also inspired, nurtured, and guided our scholars, ensuring that alongside our volunteer college coaches, that our scholars are well prepared for the future.
My name is Joseph Barboza, and I will be a first-generation college student. My parents and I are very grateful for what the LUCA family has done for me, and without LUCA, I'm afraid I wouldn't have many answers. And my parents and I are more than happy to be able to witness our dream come true. Their son is going to college, and his future path is being lit by many inspirational people, taking hands together to help guide their child to reach what was once a seemingly frightening and stressful goal to accomplish.
Always remember your identity and your journey as a first-gen student, your heritage as a Latino is not an obstacle to overcome. It's your superpower. It's your strength. It's your future. It's our future, and I am so proud.
Wow. I'm going to give it a second for us to flip back to just us. There we go. I hope you ladies can see all the awards that are going, all the clapped hands. It's clear to see why we asked you to join us. It's probably even more clear to our Mutual of America family why you all received the Francis R. Hesselbein Community Partnership Award. And so while I would like to say that we searched long and hard to find you, you came to us, you were sitting right here, and it's always great to be able to lift up and recognize those who already have a partnership with us. So let me start by just asking both of you a little bit about who you are. Shirley, I think sometimes when people hear that someone did extraordinary things, they're extraordinary people. And I'm not going to imply that you're not extraordinary, but I wholeheartedly believe that ordinary people can do extraordinary things. And I say that because I think sometimes it stops people from doing what's in their heart because they think, oh, she's so different than me. And I know we read your amazing list of accomplishments, but I'm sure that you just started out as a young lady, a young girl in Puerto Rico, and you achieved more. So tell us a little bit about who you are, what's your background, and then what inspired you to start, I love the word in the video, this family that focuses on empowering young, low-income Latino youths. What made you do that?
Wow, thank you. Well, thank you very much, Tara, and to the team at Mutual of America for inviting us to participate. I am so excited to be here, and especially excited to share this opportunity with Alondra, who is a remarkable scholar in our program and has been a dear ambassador for the organization. Again, thank you for the award of the Frances Hesselbein Award. That was an amazing recognition and event, and one that we don't take lightly. We're so busy doing the work that when we receive recognition, it's sometimes like, oh, who, us? So it really, it means a lot, and thank you. And we're just thrilled to speak to your team today, especially for Hispanic Heritage Month and for your celebration. Yes, I'm a proud Latina. I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. I was raised by my grandparents. Like many Latino families that I work with, my mother came to New York as a single mom, and I lived with my grandparents until she was able to build a home for us here and bring me back to New York City, to the Bronx, where I began my high school career and my educational career. I will tell you, I am an ordinary woman, but this moment that I am at now and this experience that I have had building LUCA has been a lifelong journey. And I can honestly say that sometimes life and purpose and destiny finds you, and that the experiences that you go through are for a higher purpose or moment that help you fulfill a purpose both for yourself, but for your community. And I want to tell you a little bit about that. I was raised by a strong, independent Latina mother in a working blue collar family. My dad was a New York City bus driver, my stepdad. And, but my mom instilled in us, in my brother and I, an urgency and a commitment to education as a pathway to success and economic security. Even though my mom only had a high school degree and she worked as a hairdresser and an office assistant, she felt that an education was the greatest gift she could give us. And as she would say in Spanish, la educación nadie te lo quita. And education is someone no one can take away from you. And I became the first in my family, along with my brother, to go off to college. And in the 80s, enrolled at Pace University, where I majored in business and marketing. I loved my career at Saatchi and Gray, working in Hispanic marketing, where I could blend my cultural, bilingual, education, and professional aspirations. It was an exciting professional career, very fast-paced. And in 2001, as I was raising my young family of 2 daughters, I switched to nonprofit and began to work at a local organization, more out of a need to give back to the community, but also wanting greater flexibility in my life. What I didn't know was that this was going to be a defining moment in defining what my vocation was going to be, that I felt a need to not sell product to the Latino community as I was doing in marketing, but to be of service and to be of support to the families that we served at this, it was a food pantry and a hiring site. And what inspired me to pursue this was recognizing that so many of the people that I served reminded me of my grandmother, reminded me of my mother, reminded me of the journey and the culture that I had grown up with. So later in life, I returned to graduate school to pursue an MPA because I wanted to accelerate my nonprofit career. And it was in my graduate program that my capstone research was focused on educational opportunities and identifying the challenges that first generation Latino youth were experiencing. This capstone really opened my eyes to the complexity and the challenges and the barriers that first gen youth were facing. The inequity of the process became evident as I helped my own daughter go through the college application process, now as a college graduate and a professional with resources, but working with a community that didn't have that. It led me to really become very challenged about this inequity and saying, we need to do something. How can we support families that I know have the same dreams for their children, but don't have these resources? And so we launched Spanish language presentations, helping families understand aplicando, pagando, applying, paying, and pathways to college. And in 2012, that idea, that research became the foundation for the launching of a nonprofit organization. And Latino Youth College Access was born in September 2020. In September 2012, we're now 12 years old. And our mission and our commitment is to empower low-income first-gen Latino youth so that they can fulfill their incredible potential, as you saw from the video.
Yeah. So thank you. I'm going to lift up one thing that you said before I pass to oh my gosh. Alondra. Thank you. Sorry about that. But I want to lift up just one thing that you said, and it was about your ability when you were working in advertising to kind of bring together who you are to be able to move things forward. And I want to just lift that up because we have on our evaluation, we have a question around diversity, equity, inclusion. And I think sometimes, people just think that we mean, did you hire someone who has a diverse background? But really what we're trying to ask in that question is, how are you able to encourage the people on your team, or how are you as a person able to lift up a piece of who you are to make our organization better? Now, we happen to be spotlighting you, who is a Hispanic American, but anyone can think about how they bring the broad set of skill sets, what they know, to the organization, and that is diversity, equity, inclusion, and more importantly, the idea of belonging and creating environments where people feel like they are comfortable to do that, to kind of belong and bring themselves. So I wanted to just lift that up. But let me shoot to you. So you're a senior at George Washington School of Business. Tell us a little bit about who you are and your decision to go to George Washington.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tara. Just to start off again, my name is Alondra, or Alondra, however you prefer to pronounce it as well. As you mentioned before, I'm a first-generation Ecuadorian college student and Latina. I'm currently a senior at George Washington University studying marketing with a minor in human services and social justice. I was also born and raised in a small town in Westchester, New York by my Ecuadorian immigrant parents, and am the oldest sister of 3 other siblings. So growing up, I was really instilled the idea of having education as the tool I needed to really have success after high school. And my parents always really pushed me and encouraged me to find as many resources as I could to do well in school, keep my grades up in order to be able to attend the best college that I could. And while in high school, through my high school counselor, I was able to be nominated for the LUCA program. And as a high school graduate from 2021, it was a little bit of a different experience due to being in the middle of COVID and having my whole year being disrupted. So the whole process of being able to be nominated, but then also apply to the LUCA program was all fully virtual. And by managing, meeting the LUCA familia virtually and getting to know them and being interviewed, I was so proud and happy, along with my family, to have been able to be selected to be part of the program in upcoming class. And it was definitely an adjustment, not only for me in school, being able to adjust to an online virtual setting when it came to academics, but also being able to navigate how to learn about the college application process and have access to a college mentor through LUCA, and being able to really be supported, although we were all, distant and online and not necessarily would see each other in person anymore. We really were still able to feel that sense of familia that's been built with LUCA, and it was just such an incredible, like, empowering feeling of being able to be in such a disruptive and complex time in my life and in high school and my academic career, but still feel like I had support and I had people that believed in me. And through my college coach, through LUCA, who I still speak to today and who's helping me now navigate post-graduation plans, I still feel like I'm constantly being pushed to my greatest potential as much as I can, and that's more than I could ever ask from a nonprofit organization like Latino U. And when it came to my college application process and making a decision, I found that George Washington University gave me really great financial aid and scholarships through my academics and my grades and all the extracurricular activities I was able to do in high school. And although it was a really tough decision, I feel like, as the oldest sister and a very family-oriented person, to move 5 hours away from home, I never really imagined that for myself. I didn't think that would be possible. I really thought I was going to stay in New York and be close to my family, but we all believed and saw it as an opportunity that I really couldn't pass up. And I knew that these 4 years would change my life and bring more opportunities than I could ever thought possible. And so my family was really supportive throughout that process, and my college coach was also super empowering and was able to give me all the advice that she also had. And not only through the support of my family, but the LUCA Familia, I was able to pursue this decision and make the move to Washington, D.C., where I currently am finishing my last year. And I really, really, through this whole entire process and year, I can strongly and proudly say that I really learned the power of stepping out of your comfort zone to really grow. And I noticed that it's pushed me to grow in so many ways, from personal to professional. And so I'm so grateful today to be able to represent LUCA in the mission that they've been able to accomplish over the past years, over a decade, and also represent and be an example and empower other first-generation Latinos who need someone else to believe in them and push them to their greatest potential as well.
Alondra, I wholeheartedly think you're working to your highest potential, but you don't even know what it is yet. And that's what's going to be really amazing, because you think you're here, and what life is going to bring you is so much further that it is all going to be a wonderful surprise for you. I'm so impressed with you. I'm so glad you're here. It's the star of the show. So, go ahead. Are we going to say something?
No, I just said she is.
She is, yes, she is. Yes. We'll co-sign on that. So for people who have been through the college experience, either as parents or as family members, or even remember applying for themselves, getting into college is not easy for anybody, right? So we'll say that. But I like statistics, and so I want to just propel our conversation in statistics to just kind of uplift it. So some recent data from sources like UnidosUS.org and the National Center for Education Statistics say that Latinos represent about 11% of the students in higher education, and they're the fastest growing college enrollment group. Yet, you said it, and I think we know it, there are structural barriers that make getting a meaningful college education difficult. And those so everyone knows it's a difficult process, but when you say it's structural barriers, it's institutionalized barriers that make it more difficult. So I'm wondering if you could tell us, Shirley, about those barriers. What are they? And how do you use those kind of data? Because I'm assuming it's not just because you feel like you should be doing this, but they're guarded in your research that you're doing this for a reason, with some evidentiary kind of information that guides how you make the decisions that you make, or proves that, and once done, proves that you made them right. Tell us a little bit about that process. What you know from, what is the research telling us, and how do you use that to inform the direction of the program?
I mean, absolutely. And having come from a business background and a marketing background, I too am very data driven. And so one of the first things that motivated me to continue to focus on the Hispanic community and in the Latino market is the recognition that, back in the 80s and 90s, packaged goods companies were looking at this consumer group that was growing. But the Hispanic population is the fastest growing demographic in the US. It represents a significant part of our country's future. We've grown by 26% to 65 million since 2010 to 2023, which was faster than the overall 8% growth that the country has experienced. We have a declining population, an aging population. Latinos are the youngest demographic of all ethnic groups in the nation. I saw a statistic just the other day that a colleague of mine posted. Every 30 seconds, a Latino turns 18. And we are entering the workforce at higher rates than any other group, accounting for 80% of net labor force growth. The research comes from the Latino Donor Collaborative and recent research that they released. But the challenge that we face is that the system of higher education was not constructed for people like us, for people of color, for people of low income. It was constructed for a different population. And the system, and while there have been public schools, public universities, and open access, the challenges into some of the more selective universities in the nation are still based on old standards of measurements and access that that prevent and lower the access for those who most need it. And we see that in the number. While I am very proud that since 2010, educational attainment for the Latino community has doubled, only 13.6% of Latinos hold a bachelor's degree, and only 6.8% hold a graduate degree. And PhDs, we call them the white unicorn because they are far and few to find. And so as a woman with a master's who's Latina, and I'm part of that 7%, I'm very proud of that. And I'm very proud of our scholars who are now raising that 13% to higher levels as well. The barriers that are faced is that we recognize that while talent is universal and exists in our young people, opportunity is not often accessible or universal to all, and that access to higher education and the pathway and the resources needed are not equally available to all, and present significant challenges, specifically as you start looking at those schools that are more selective, at those schools that are more competitive, and at those schools that are going to give you a seat at the tables of power that make decisions in this country. And so LUCA is designed to help dismantle those barriers by explaining how this process works and by giving our students this resources and one-on-one support and coaching that their more affluent peers are receiving. And it works. We see it in the statistics of the impact of the work that we're having and where our students are enrolling and graduating from college.
Yeah, I mean, one basic example that you find in it, I think the students who come from a lower income background all face struggles. Put on top of that, you may have parents who don't know how to navigate the language. It's more difficult. And so one basic example that I can think of is the schools that give extra points for doing college visits, right? Number one, like, that is, while it is, you understand why it's a systemic barrier for people who can't afford it, for people who don't understand the language, those who have not navigated again. And there's probably many other seemingly small, but not so small barriers, whether they're because of economics or because it's whether it's how, what you know, who you know, that make these kinds of things very, very difficult. So I know we work to combat that. So Alondra, can you tell us a little bit about your experiences with LUCA? What were some of the specific things that you got from being a member of the program? You talked about having a mentor. What did your mentor do? Did you know how to use a mentor?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I feel like LUCA really takes into account a lot of information and background on each student and really tries to tie them and connect them to a college coach that can be relatable to them or that might be best fit necessarily for them or their team. My college coach, her name is Christine Louvet, and she also has a lot of background in marketing. And in high school through middle school, also I took French, and she is French. So we connected on different levels. And I didn't necessarily know what it meant to have a college coach at the time, but she really helped me navigate the entire process of when it came to looking what colleges I was planning to apply to, or I should, depending on being a marketing major, wanting to attend a business school, also being able to navigate how to write essays that would, be needed for each application. And then also not only that, but being able to navigate the entire financial aid application that we would have to fill out every single year, starting off before our first year of college. And through my college coach, I really was able to build a really personal relationship with her and her understanding my story and where I come from, and really being able to help me bring who I am and everything that I've gone through within the process in itself, especially when it came to essays, being able to show instead of tell my story, and being able to, share that with each application in each college that I was really striving to apply to and attend as well. And I really felt as though I might not have known as much of like what the process was like just because I am the first one in my family to attend. I really felt supported, and she really, pushed me to do the best that I could, and even more than that than I thought possible. And not only that, but over the years, after even attending college and helping me decide on which college I was ultimately going to attend, she's really constantly checked in on me, helped me navigate the internship application process, and as I mentioned before, now really checking in on me and staying in touch on how I'm planning to navigate post-graduation plans. She's really somebody that I feel that really connects with each scholar that she's been able to mentor, and as a volunteer, I always really appreciate that she even takes the time to dedicate it to a mission that is also really important to her, and she's been able to witness how impactful it is for me and each one of her scholars. And that's something that I always really appreciate from LUCA and all their volunteers in the family. You can really feel that everybody's mission driven, and there really is that sense of familia with each other where they really are passionate and really care about the transformation of what they're doing for students' lives, including myself. And so that's something that I continue to also want to do when it comes to being an ambassador now. After graduating high school from scholar to ambassador, I really wanted to stay involved with LUCA, and while being able to attend different in-person workshops for upcoming scholars who are graduating from high school and being able to answer their questions about what it's like to first attend college, what imposter syndrome might be when you actually attend, what classes might be like at a predominantly white institution like GW. And not only that, but being able to participate in different social media campaigns, sharing my story or sharing things about my culture, to really help motivate and empower other first-gen Latinos that might be watching, to be able to apply to LUCA and stay involved and find all the resources that we can provide as much as possible. And not only that, but also taking it to another level while being in DC. I was able to connect with Shirley and the LUCA Familia and actually be able to advocate for not only LUCA, but policies that are really changing, higher education and first generation college student lives, especially when it comes to Pell Grants and SNAP opportunities for students attending college, because we've always noticed that one of the issues, not only being able to access college, but being able to be successful in it and complete the 4 years. And that's something that I also really strongly believe in and advocate for. And so I was really excited and proud to be able to share that opportunity with LUCA at the National College Attainment Network's advocacy training and take that to the next level and really speak to representatives from New York about how these policies could really be a transformative change for students like me and those that are coming up in other generations too.
So I'm going to remind the Mutual of America Familia that if you have questions, you can put them in the chat box. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind as you're listening to the conversation. So Shirley, LUCA supports students from their from the junior year of high school all the way through their college graduation. Your college graduation rate, 95% of your students graduated in 4 to 6 years, which I think is probably slightly different than the average Latino population. I'm not sure you can answer that. One of the things, I've probably mentioned it on a call before, but I'll mention it again. There's a book that I read a long time ago. It's one of my favorite books called Hope in the Unseen. I don't know if you've ever seen that, read it, Shirley. Hope in the Unseen is a story about a young man who is African-American from Washington, D.C., and he is the valedictorian of his high school in D.C., which is probably a low-performing high school. And he graduates from high school, and he gets into, I think, Brown, if I'm not mistaken. And he gets to Brown, and it was just completely different. So if you think of, he went to high school in Washington, D.C. and goes to Brown, it couldn't be more of a culture shock for him. He was the valedictorian of his high school, which probably was a low performing high school, but he was a valedictorian. He gets to Brown, and now he's in a competitive set that is a very different competitive set. And the book, which I love, it was written by a journalist, a Washington Post journalist, and it basically tells his story, but it's his story and his parents' story, and it's basically an article that really kind of profiles what it's like for him as he's trying to navigate this environment that he thought he was excited to get to, and gets there and realizes it was more difficult than he expected. And so I asked, because part of what you do, that so confirm for me if you happen to know, what is the average graduation rate for Latinos, but also the work that you do is not just about what Alondra mentioned with getting them there. It's not enough to get them there. We have to get them to graduate. So tell us about what your program does to stay in touch with them those 4 to 6 years that they're in college.
Absolutely. That is such an integral part. And while LUCA was initially founded as a college access to help students just enter and navigate the application process, we quickly recognized that getting in was only half the battle. We partner with school districts that are 50% or more Hispanic. And so the students that we serve come from very diverse high schools. And they're often students that have demonstrated academic potential and are high achieving and have done very well. And as you said, our statistic is 51%. I'm looking at attend some of the most selective, very selective universities. And you go from going to a school where 50%, 60% of your classmates are students of color, and suddenly you're in a school where there's maybe 11% and you're the only one in the lecture hall, and suddenly you were the brightest in your school, and now you're suddenly struggling to compete with others that have had access to services and academic preparation that you've never even heard of. And so that is a big challenge, not only for Latino youth, but all students of color. The national statistic is that 40 to 50% of first-gen Latino students drop out of college in their first 2 years before completing school. So we're very proud.
What you do is extraordinary.
We're very proud. And we have witnessed and have experienced the challenges of students. That we had a Brown student who almost dropped out of Brown University, and we had to intercede and support him and call the school and talk to him and have his coach talk to him and support them all the way. The key reasons that Latino youth are dropping out isn't academics per se. It's financial difficulties, limited access to resources, to support services, the challenge of balancing family and work responsibilities, that imposter syndrome, the guilt that comes with leaving your family behind. These are mental health, cultural issues that many of the universities the students are in can't understand or relate to. And so the things they feel isolation, cultural barriers, things that often derail them, that have so much more to do with your experience on campus and how you feel leaving your family behind. So as a 6-year program, we launched the College Success Program in 2017, where we supported students from freshman year through senior year. And the way that we do this is by conducting regular ongoing deal check-ins with them every semester, hosting workshops on things like navigating college campuses, what are the different campuses are, dealing with stress and homesickness, building community on campus as a Latino student. The first thing I tell them is find out where your first gen office is and find out where your Latino community is. One of my scholars, Andres Castillo, was a student at Princeton who was doing very well, but he told me every time I was thinking of quitting, I would just go to the Latino Association, and they hosted an event, and I reconnected, and I went back, and I just got energized and charged up again. But we also support the parents, because we want to give advice to parents who are also very fearful of the life and the experience their children are having. And their first instinct when their child is struggling is, come home. Come home, I'll take care of you. It's okay. But that parents who are second gen or college educated, we know that's not the answer. Stick it through. And so we've had to have conversations with a number of our scholars to navigate that. Stick it through. How do we help you navigate this? Maybe take a break. And so it is the support that a student that has a college educated parent gets at home. We're providing that level of support to them. And we see it working because it's culturally relevant. It's addressing the barriers. It's giving the guidance and support that they need.
Yeah, those on the call know, because I talk about it all the time. I went to Syracuse University. I'm a huge advocate for Syracuse and our students there. And so we work with a lot of first generation students who have low income. I myself was a first generation college student. And I think as we learn about what happens is that the parents just think, well, we'll just get them there and just do your classes and do well. But we do now know that it's the complexity of the experiences that they have in college that matter. And so Alondra, excuse me. I keep want to call you Alejandra because I love that name. Alondra, I know you and I talked about the ability to go abroad and you couldn't do that because of COVID, but you think about, a student who spends 4 years on campus and just puts their head down but doesn't get involved in organizations like you did, or the difference of the experience of someone who has the opportunity to study abroad, like what does that do to them? Or even something small as they want to pledge a fraternity or sorority, but they don't have money for it. Their parents don't understand. And those things are what shapes the difference between belonging or not belonging, or the experience and the broadening of those experiences. And if you have parents who've not done this before, if you have parents who don't have financial needs to do that, you don't understand the network that gives you when you get out of school. And so again, that's why I applaud organizations like you, because there are things that come as commonplace, particularly if your parents went to college, that if you didn't go to college, if your parents are fearful, you just would never know. And it really, those years, not that they not that they dictate what happens to you forever, but they sure do have an impact on how you use those years. So I'm going to pause one more time. I don't see any questions there. I'm going to invite Tish on quickly just to see if there's anything she wants to add. And then when we do that, and then we'll continue if I have some other things in my back pocket to ask you. But Tish, I'll call you on just to see if there's anything you want to add or bring forth.
Hi, thank you for monitoring. There are no questions as of yet. I do encourage audience participation. As always, we love that you join, but we always want you to participate and be part of our discussion if you'd like. I just can't stress enough just how wonderful an idea it was to have Shirley join and speak about LUCA, bring your organization to light and talk about all the wonderful work that you're doing. But we again can't stop beaming about the wonderful suggestion to invite one of your scholars, and you couldn't have had a more amazing ambassador. Let me change that. I know you could have, because all of your students are great. We knew, but we're so appreciative of seeing both perspectives, and we do see some questions coming in. So if you don't mind, let me see if I can just share. There might be some comments. So the first is, hi, Shirley and Alondra. I am so happy our whole company gets an opportunity to hear more about LUCA Scholars and the wonderful work you're doing. It's easy to see why LUCA was one of the top awardees for the 2023 CPA. Congratulations to you both, and keep shining bright. So we don't typically speak the names of the people who are, just to protect anonymity. I do happen to recognize this individual as someone who has long been a champion of LUCA and attended your recent graduation ceremony. So you might be able to figure that out. I want to be respectful of her, though, if she doesn't want to be named on the call, but we all champion your work. The second comment, Alondra, I'm very interested to know what you are doing after graduation. Shirley, what is the success rate of graduates getting a job after graduation?
Do you want to start with Alondra or me?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. This is one of the main questions that have come up since last year as well. And I just want to start by saying that I'm somebody that's also very passionate, as you can see, about giving back And throughout my internship experiences as being in the comms team for a national nonprofit, as well as working at an advertising agency this summer in New York, I really always strived to really bridge the gap between the communications and advertising side of my studies to my passion for giving back to communities and being able to make an impact no matter where I go. And so when it comes to the question of what I'm thinking about doing after graduation, I've currently started applying to several different job opportunities, whether it be rotational programs within account management on the advertising side of a company, or also applying to social strategist type of positions when it comes to marketing. I'm somebody who is really drawn to the creative side of marketing, but one of the things that I definitely make sure to do is really do my research and understand and get to know people from all the different, jobs and organizations that I'm applying to, just because I'm somebody that really appreciates aligning my values to a company and their team's values, and that's something that I definitely always take into account. And yeah, definitely making sure to bridge that gap between being able to use my comms and consumer behavior analytical skills, but being able to apply that into a company and a position where I feel like I can definitely be making an impact on whether it's communities or people that really might need help in a certain sector. But yeah, thank you so much for asking.
Thank you, wonderful. And I'll just repeat for you, Shirley, the second part of that question. What is
Wait, before you repeat it, can I just say one thing?
Mhm.
Alondra, are you on LinkedIn?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure in case anyone wanted to know that. So there you go.
Yes, please connect with Alondra. And one of the things that she has learned well and that we encourage is the power of networking, the power of making connections. As an organization, we are introducing Alondra to everyone because we know she is preparing herself for her graduation. And we know she will be an incredible asset to whatever next organization she chooses to go to. One of our, one of the things that we have recognized how important it is for us to be able to follow our students' success post-graduation. And I don't have the full metrics for you because as we have transitioned into the career readiness piece of the work, over the last 2 years, we have discovered that not only is there a challenge with first-gen students of under-applying to college, there is now an ongoing conversation about underemployment because they don't have the social capital and understanding of the networks and the way to find jobs that is very different now. So LUCA has made a concentrated effort to build corporate partnerships with DEI teams, HR, ERGs, so that we can introduce our scholars to corporate partners and organizations that they may not have ever considered. And so I'm happy to share that we started very small. So our first cohort of scholars were 5, 10, 20, 25 scholars. We're now up to 100 scholar cohorts coming in, going through the pipeline in junior year of high school. But we have students who are now employed at MasterCard, Morgan Stanley, and PepsiCo. These are companies that we partner with. Regeneron, Google, and Amazon. We're keeping track of where they're going. We know that a large percentage of our students are in graduate school. And this year, I'm proud to say that we have our first 3 scholars that are now enrolled in medical school, including Johns Hopkins. So we're building the base of medical students. And the one scholar that I'm really also very excited about is Carola Vasquez, who graduated from RIT with an aeronautical engineering major. And she's working at Lockheed, but her vision is to be an astronaut. So we're hoping she brings a LUCA flag with her when she goes up in space. So yeah, it's exciting to see where they are. And Tara, as you said, for me, it's exciting to see the journey that's ahead of them, that many of them are not even conscious is coming, and how beautiful this life experience will be for them, for their families, for their community, because it's a blessing to everyone.
Yes, yes.
Thank you for sharing that. I see another question come in. And before I continue, I think for those who might not have been on our call last year and not aware of our celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month, and our esteemed guests were two of our board members, we did have this discussion earlier this week. I keep thinking it was last week, but earlier this week with Shirley. Alondra, I don't believe that we shared that with you if you're not aware, but our board members, Kimberly Casiano and one Dr. Ellen Ochoa, as we spoke of aeronautics and NASA and all those things, astronaut. We celebrated her last year. So what a beautiful tie-in. And I do expect to see that LUCA flag posted in the near future. This next comment and question, I believe more of a comment, but I just want to say I'm a result of a scholarship program attending Hostos Community College in the Bronx here in New York City, funded by DOD. I believe this individual perhaps is a service member, as I'm aware the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs and the Department of Defense provide such benefits to eligible members. But they said they are a benefit with the help of Congressman Jose Serrano. I love what you're doing. And then more congratulatory notes. We get excited and our tongues get twisted. So more notes are just coming in. I just want to give the floor back to all three of you again to continue your discussion. Again, thank you. I'll sign off, but we are so pleased to have you speaking with us and sharing more of what you both do to champion Latinos and the pursuit of their education. So thank you again. Tara, I'll give it back to you.
Wonderful. Well, with just the 3 minutes left and Tish just dropped off, I do want to make sure I acknowledge the team that helped put this together. So Tish, Anita Walker, Sarah Kent, Lawrence, as always, were all instrumental in making sure we were ready. We also have Sarah Nyland, who works with us on making sure that all of our templates are put together. And so while I always get the opportunity to do the interviews, I always want to acknowledge that there are people that are alongside me who help with this work. So Alondra, I will finally say that I have now stopped calling you Alejandra. Alondra.
Alondra.
Give me a minute and writing it down. I do wish you the best of luck in your career search. I'm going to remind people here that they should link in with you because, you know, there, to your point, Shirley, there may be an organization that you're looking at that someone knows someone who knows someone. And so I'm going to feel free for the people who are on this call to say, I'm sure they would be happy to help you. So please just hopefully you'll look out and see some LinkedIn requests. And then Shirley, I guess I'll give you the final word. The intention of this is really to spread light on celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. But I think that it's nonprofit organizations which sit at the heart of who we are and sit at the heart of who we are as an organization and who I am as a person. I have a special love for nonprofits, all exist on funding. And so while we didn't bring you on here to talk about funding, I would be remiss to not say, to talk about how someone might be able to get in touch with you, donations. I don't know if you have specific kind of programs that someone could sponsor. I'll just give you the final minute to be able to just tell us what we need to know,
Thank you. And thank you for that opportunity to share that with you. As you know, nonprofits exist due to the incredible generosity and support of funders and donors who believe in the mission and believe in the right to provide opportunity and equity to students who have so much potential and present so much for our country and our communities. LUCA is actually hosting its gala on October 24th. I would love to invite you to come and visit us. On our website, it's latinouth.org, Latino, the letter U.org, /Visiones. Our gala is called Visiones, and our theme this year is inspired by purpose. If you're in New York and you'd like to join us, it's in New Rochelle. But you also, general donations are accessible through our website. We have a scholar support fund, which is designated for emergency expenses that often students can't ask their parents for money for, like my laptop cover broke, or I need new a coat for a cold winter that I'm not accustomed to. So Scholar Support Fund, we have a First en Familia scholarship that is awarded to students. Mutual of America, we used a portion of the award money to present a scholarship at our graduation celebration. And of course, general program support, general operating support is the lifeblood of nonprofits. We are a small organization in terms of revenue as a $1.7 million organization, but our goal and our vision for the next 3 years is to grow and scale. And we do that with the support and generosity of individuals like you that are watching. And of course, there's significant volunteer opportunities. One-day FAFSA boot camps. You can be a career mentor. You can be a college coach and work with a student like Alondra. Or any volunteer opportunity that you'd like to pursue, just fill out the form right on our website under Get Involved. Our volunteer manager is outstanding and she is listening in, and I know she's eager to recruit more volunteers. So these are the most impactful ways that we would love to have you join our LUCA Familia, celebrate our scholars, and be part of this mission.
Well, I thank you. I thank you both for joining. I thank those who are watching live. I thank those who are watching on video. We really do try our best with these series to bring light to underrepresented communities. We love all communities, but I like to make sure that when we're thinking about making institutional change, systemic change, that we highlight those who could get by with a little help from our friends. And so thank you for doing that. For those who are watching, you know, our theme for this year is Enlighten, Embrace, Empower. Our theme from last year was mutual respect times, oh gosh, now I'm going to say it and then forgot. Mutual respect, and Tish is going to remember 365. Mutual respect 365. I know I'm missing something else, but I just missed it. And really, I think that these opportunities allow us to see that we are more alike than we are different, and it allows us to remember to bring all people to the table, to make all people feel like they belong, and elevate all voices. So thank you both for being here. Alondra, I wish you, I got it right now, Alondra. I wish you a wonderful fall break. Thank you for spending your time with us. Shirley, it's again, congratulations on the award and congratulations on the work that you're doing. And with that, I'll just sign off. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.